Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, this whole investigation, and everyone's up there pointing the finger at Sloan, has become pretty ridiculous. Hell, even Melinda barging in, like coming in there, interrupting Eric and Sloan's breakfast to sit there and pretty much say, well, you did it, and I'm going to make sure that you pay for it. It's like, what? Like, even Sloan was there saying, like, I get Paulina because she doesn't have an understanding of the law, but you do. And here's what makes it even worse. Ever since I've been watching this show, Melinda has been taking L's after L's after L's after L's. Okay? When she tried to prosecute Bella for something that she didn't do, she caught a huge L. And I'm pretty sure when she tried to prosecute somebody else, when she tried to prosecute Rafe for being a dirty cop, she took another L. Okay? So now she's there gunning for Sloan, and I'm like, boo. Listen, I like you and all, but maybe they should sit there and think about getting a new DA. Maybe they should. Because your track record is it's pretty bad. There's no other way to sit there and put it. And even Eric steps up and is like, yo, listen, you don't have any proof. You have no proof that she did any of this. Also, I'm her alibi. So he backs her up, and she just kind of stomps off and walks off and everything. And nobody wants to sit there and eat those biscuits. Hell, even Paulina, when she walked in there, she didn't even want to eat those biscuits. Certain things are just not really adding up. I mean, yeah, it's getting pretty annoying when Chanel's like, no, it's totally Sloan. Sloan could have did it. Sloan's the only person that did it. And I'm looking at this whole thing, right? Now, at this point, we all know Talia did it, right? We don't really know why. We just know that she did it. But there's a certain level of common sense that's just not really adding up. So Chanel's know that she didn't do it, right? You don't know this girl from jump. This girl, Talia, you don't know her from jump. Yeah, she's been nice, and she's probably nice to look at and everything like that. But you don't know her since jump. Not at one point in time did she even sit there and think that this girl did it. It's just, it has to be Sloan. And again, there's a certain level of disbelief you're supposed to have with these shows. But it's kind of odd that now at one point in time that she even possibly could have thought, you know what? I hired this chick, and now my biscuit, my restaurant, my bakery is a mess, and she just forgot to turn off the cameras. Not at one point in time, not an ounce of doubt. I mean, this thing has been going on for quite a while. Abe needs to sit there and bring his tone down a lot. He's even sitting there being like, oh, it's Sloan. Why isn't Sloan not arrested? And finally, Rafe was like, you know what? Maybe you're too close to this. You're too close to this. Point blank, period. And, even Jada's like, we have nothing on her. We don't have security footage. We don't have fingerprints. We don't actually have anything to tie her to this thing. Bottom line, you need to sit there and just take it down a couple of notches. That they do bring in Chanel and Talia. And of course, Talia's like, I don't understand what, Chanel's like, I don't understand why they're bringing us in. It was Sloan that did it. It has to be her because, that just makes sense for this show for some odd reason. They question them separately. And, when Talia was like, oh, you question us separately? Alarm bells is not going off on anyone's head. right? They question them separately, and towards the end, they compare notes. Now, um, Melinda's there, and she's like, how's the investigations going? And so, she wants to sit there and catch the person who's doing it. Of course, she still thinks it's Sloan because why not? And when they finish comparing notes, um, the first thing that they do is they talk about the time. There's like something's not adding up. Rafe is like something doesn't make sense, and Jada's like, yeah, there's a problem. And I could have swore she said that um, about Talia and things just not adding up, like as if she lied about something or something doesn't really check out with the story. She knows that right off the jump. And towards the end, throughout this whole time, Paulina hugging Chanel and, Chanel talking about her business doing bad. There's one point where Chanel is telling Talia, I can't pay you. You can't work for free. And Talia's like, why not? I'm like, yo, you shouldn't have told me that this woman's a doctor and she's going to turn down money to work for free. And you're just like, none of that is going off in your head. I just, and of course, when she's hugging, when Paulina and Chanel are hugging, you can see the look of guilt on Talia's face. Not at one point in time does she look like she was happy. She was, oh, this is going great. This is really going to sit there and take her down. None of that. Not one point in time did she smile. Did she take joy in it? And so you can tell there's a level of guilt. Now, of course, towards the end, she goes to the hotel and she meets up with some guy. They start kissing and everything like that. So you can tell that she is not fully on board with this. Like she's on board, but she's not on board. Okay, but yeah, that she's fully not on board, like I said. EJ is still thinking about whatever that secret is that Nicole is having, and there's a couple of nauseating scenes with Stefan and Gabby. And I'm going to choose to skip as far as them being upstairs. Nicole comes down and she sees something's up with EJ, and she's like, "What's going on?" So EJ lies. He's all like, "Oh, it's about Stefan and Gabby moving back in," and they get back downstairs. And at first, EJ's like, I want to sit there and evict Gabby. But Stefan's name is on the deed, so that's a no-go. Stefan also tells EJ that Gabby's going to be working there at Demera, and that he doesn't need his approval because it's a consultant position. And Stefan's like, Stephanie's like, Gabby's going to be sitting there evaluating you. She wants to sit there and make sure everything is going well as far as people being productive and stuff. So she's going to start her evaluation with you. EJ gets pissed. He's so angry. He is like steaming. You can tell, like even Nicole's like just pissed. So she keeps like rubbing his shoulders and everything. And he's just like, oh, you know what? I'm going to hide Nicole. Yeah, Nicole's going to be a consultant also. And Nicole's like, well, that sounds great, but he kind of forgot I already have a job. But, he puts her on the spot and she accepts. And I think that was mostly to sit there and support EJ. Not to make him look like a fool and everything. So she's like, all right, fine, yeah, I'll do it. Now Brady is sitting there running that company by himself. And what is Chloe doing again? I guess she's still at the Marrow, unless she quit. I know she left. I don't really understand why the actress left or anything like that, but I know she left. So did she get back her old job, or is she going to be sitting there working with Brady again? I'm very curious about that because right now, all Smith is saying is that they got an employee down. So that's going to be interesting. I feel like that's pretty much about it. This was a short episode. It was literally 35 minutes. I looked at the time because sometimes I'll sit there and look at the time if I'm running late and I can't sit there and do a review. And I want to make sure I have enough time to sit there and watch the show before I do my live stream. And it's been very interesting. You know, sometimes they have a longer episode, sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it's 40 minutes, sometimes it's 39 minutes. It's very interesting, and I feel like that's a lot more appropriate um, than them just kind of throwing stuff there just to stretch out the show. I mean, I know with GH for Hulu, it's usually 35 minutes, right? But I feel like I feel like with the other soap operas, it's standard, you know, because Days is on a streaming platform. They don't have to sit there and tack on scenes to stretch out the time for the show. That's one thing that, I mean, one of many things, to be honest, but one of many things that Days have over the other shows is that they don't have to sit there and tack on unnecessary scenes just to stretch things out. And again, when I did my review on GH, and I was talking about a pointless scene with Anna, Holly, and Robert, them snitty trying to guess what Victor's plan is. It's like, why does that matter? Why are we cutting to them for? Like that doesn't matter. That whole scene literally makes no sense. And I'm so glad that Days of Our Lives doesn't have to put up with that. It doesn't. And I love that. And I love the fact that because they're on a streaming platform, they don't have to deal with that nonsense. I always find it very, you know, again, I always find it very funny. It kind of tickles me a little bit when, you know, you still have, and believe it or not, you still actually have some people that's just like, I want Days of Our Lives to come back on regular television again. Now, I get it. I get it to some extent. I get that even though that we live in the year 2023, there are some people that still live like they're back into 1820s and they've never heard of internet and Wi-Fi and stuff. But you know, I always feel like where there's a will, there's a way. You know, I've talked to people that even though that they weren't tech savvy, they had somebody in their family that could sit there and figure that ish out. So I find the excuses of why some people aren't on board watching the show to be flimsy at best. Some people will sit there and say, "Well, you know, it's the money and stuff like that," and I'm like, it's $4 a month. Okay, I'm not gonna sit there and I this isn't like wallet shaming because I'm gonna be honest with you. It's $4.99 a month going to break your bank, then you need to start making some different decisions in your life when it comes towards your finances. Point blank period. And Days have literally bent over backwards and slashed the price in half and was probably I'm pretty sure I wasn't too sure, but like maybe they were probably giving out some free accounts, you know? But you know, they bent over backwards to make sure that everybody can be on board. $2.99. $2.99 to sit there and watch these shows and to support these shows. And I understand that watching the show is a level of support. It's like Smith is saying, watching me is a level of support. You don't have to sit there and do the $4.99 to support me. You can sit there and watch it. You can like, you can share. There's other ways of you doing that. So I understand the whole, you know, support thing to some level. You know, when people were doing it before when it was on TV. But you know what? Listen, circumstances have changed. Circumstances have changed. And if you want to sit there and continue to support these shows and watch these shows, then that's what it takes to do it. that's what it takes to do it. You're not on board, then I don't know. Start watching soap operas or watch Y&R. Watch Y&R. I don't know what to sit there and tell you. I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened. I would love to sit there and do these views more full time. It's just a lack of time. It's a lack of time, especially Mondays. No. Tuesdays, sorry. Tuesdays is hell day. Especially Tuesdays. But, you know, what would also help me, besides actually, joining the YouTube membership to get exclusive. You know what else would help me though? Just in general, I get that some people can't sit there and join to be members because of just various reasons. What would help me, especially raise up the numbers a little bit, is if you shared this video. If you shared this video, that would help as well. And I don't normally sit there and say, well, if you could sit there and share the video. I don't say it too often because I know that when I was watching stuff and people, oh, like the video. It's like, oh, sharing is an extra process. It's so much work. And I get that because it kind of is. So yes, in a way, I am being a hypocrite. But if you do share this video, it does actually help. It gets more people to watch. And the like button, it does raise it up. The algorithm chain, because let's be honest, as far as the 4 shows goes, Days of Our Lives is the best in terms of just soap operas in general. As much as I love GH, and I say that Days is my favorite show, but I really love GH. It's just GH would fail on so many levels when it comes towards these shows, and that sucks. And I wish that GH would take more notes from Days, as far as the pacing, number one. Number two, using the vets. Now, there's a lot of people that would defend GH and be like, well, I don't want to sit there and see a bunch of old people save the world. I want to sit there and see the kids do it. And that's kind of the problem. Because at some point, it's like you have these vets that come in and they're just relegated to supporting roles. And there's nothing wrong with supporting roles, but it shouldn't just be that they're only relegated to supporting roles. And I do feel like Days is much more balanced. And they do actually show young people also saving the day. It's not just, the older people. I find that to be such an ignorant statement. Because one person said that in my live stream, and I'm just like, that's not necessarily the case. But, I don't want to see characters be relegated to like Bobby and Scotty that just come in there, and Lucy that just come in there for comedy relief. Have them do stuff. That would be great. I went on a rant, and I'm pretty sure I was trying to tell people to share this video. I was trying to tell people to share the video. But yeah, sharing the video, it really does help. It really does raise numbers. Because I'm going to be honest. Okay, so on one hand, I'm very grateful for the people that watch. 60, for 30, I'm very grateful. But when you have B&B numbers that are like sometimes like in 800, 900s, and Days will be like 60, 70, 80 at the end of the day. It's like, but Days is the better soap opera. So why does it actually have less numbers than B&B? I don't know. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. If I missed anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about it all, as well as all the other soaps. And, yeah.